Hello, welcome to Sunday, September 6th. I hope that you are all well, and I want to wish you all a happy Labor Day, as that's going to be tomorrow. Let me thank my pows and my wows. Well, my wows, I have gone back to school, and you're probably wondering, how am I doing that? Am I doing that online? Am I going in person? But I actually work at a private school, and the kids aren't there yet. We start on the 8th, but I was back to school and getting my classroom ready. And I will be working Monday through Friday in the mornings with 4-year-olds. And let me think, we take their temperature when they come in. We take their temperature after lunch. We wash their hands incredibly a lot. And we just don't let them come in if they even have a sniffle. Pretty much is where we are with that. So hopefully all will go well. Oh, and I'm of course wearing a mask, and so are they. So that has been my wow for the week, is just being back in school a little bit more than usual. And I'm actually filming this ahead of time, but my birthday will have been yesterday on the 5th, so I'm going to imagine that was probably one of my wows. And my pows are prayers for everyone going back to school, whether it be a hybrid of Zooming and going in a couple days, or if it's all virtual, or if it's all going in. I just, pray for everyone going back, because I know it's a challenging time. Okay, our lesson today is all about freedom. And the intention for this lesson is to understand that true freedom begins when we free ourselves to be ourselves. Now, our affirmation that goes with this, it says, I am free to be me. And it seems pretty simple, but sometimes being our authentic and true selves isn't always easy. And these times when, you're on these Zoom calls and you can't really interact with people so much, you have to remember, be you. Let your real self shine through. Now, the book that we have today is called Old Turtle. Old Turtle, it's a story by Douglas Wood, and it has watercolors by Cheng-Chi Kee. And there's the title of it. I'm going to try and show you the pictures well. I'm not sure if I can read this without these or not. Once, long ago, yet somehow not so very long, when all the animals and rocks my goodness, pages are stuck. And winds and waters and trees and birds and fish and all the beings of the world could speak and understand one another, there began an argument. It began softly at first, quiet as the first breeze that whispered, he is a wind who is never still. Quiet as the stone that answered, he is a great rock that never moves. Gentle as the mountain that rumbled, God is a snowy peak high above the clouds. And the fish in the ocean that answered, God is a swimmer in the dark blue depth of the sea. No, said the star. God is a twinkling and shining far, far away. No, replied the ant. God is a sound and a smell and a feeling who is very, very close. God, said the antelope, is a runner, swift and free, who loves to leap and race with the wind. She is a great tree, murmured the willow, a part of the world, always growing and always giving. You are wrong, argued the island. God is separate and apart. God is like the shining sun, far above all things, said the blue sky. No, he is a river who flows through the very heart of things, thundered the waterfall. She is a hunter, roared the lion. God is gentle, chirped the robin. He is powerful, growled the bear. And the argument grew louder and louder and louder until, stop! A new voice spoke. It rumbled loudly, like thunder, and it whispered softly, like butterfly sneezes. The voice seemed to come from, it seemed to come from Old Turtle. Now, Old Turtle hardly ever said anything, and certainly he never argued about things like God. But now, Old Turtle began to speak. God is indeed deep, she said to the fish in the sea, and much higher than high, she told the mountain. He is swift and free as the wind, and still and solid as a great rock, she said to the breezes and stones. She is the life of the world, Turtle said to the willow. Always close by, yet beyond the farthest twinkling light, she told the ant and the star. God is gentle and powerful, above all things and within all things. God is all that we dream of and all that we seek, said Old Turtle. All that we come from and all that we can find. God is. Old Turtle had never said so much before. All the beings of the world were surprised and became very quiet. But Old Turtle had one more thing to say. There will soon be a new family of beings in the world, she said, and they will be strange and wonderful. They will be reminders of all that God is. They will come in many colors and shapes, with different faces and different ways of speaking. Their thoughts will soar to the stars, but their feet will walk the earth. They will possess many powers. They will be strong, yet tender. A message of love from God to the earth, and a prayer from the earth back to God. And the people came. Oh, look at this great picture. What's really cool about all this is it's watercolor. But the people forgot. They forgot that they were a message of love and a prayer from the earth. And they began to argue about who knew God and who did not, and where God was and was not, and whether God was or was not. And often the people misused their powers and hurt one another or killed one another. And they hurt the earth. Until finally, even the forests began to die. And the rivers and the oceans and the planets and the animals and the earth itself, because the people could not remember who they were or where God was. Until one day, there came a voice like the growling of thunder, but as soft as a butterfly sneezes. Please stop. The voice seemed to come from the mountain who rumbled, sometimes I see God swimming in the dark blue depths of the sea. And from the ocean who sighed, oh, he is often among the snow-capped peaks reflecting the sun. From the stone who said, I sometimes feel her breath as she blows by. And from the breeze who whispered, I feel his still presence as I dance among the rocks. And the star said, God is very close. And the island said, his love touches everything. And after a long, lonesome, and scary time, the people listened and began to hear. and to see God in one another. And in the beauty of all the earth. And the old turtle smiled. And so did God. I think that's a great story. All right, now we'll discuss our questions that go along with this unit. It's getting a little toasty out here. Okay, let's see. What happened when the people arrived? Well, at first they remembered God and they remembered who they were and they were fine. But then not too long, that started to change and they forgot they were a message of love and a prayer for the earth. And they started to argue. What did they begin to do with one another? Well, like I said, they started to argue and they started to fight, they started to disagree, they started to hurt one another, and they even started killing one another at times. They were destroying the planet. And the question to ask here is, what caused them to act this way? Well, I would say it was because they forgot where they came from and who they were a part of and what was a part of them, so that they forgot they were made in God's image. Now, ask, how does the story end? It has a nice ending. The people ended up listening and hearing and seeing God in one another and in everything around them. So that was pretty cool. Now, one more question. In what ways was Old Turtle truly free? Well, I would say she was free because, well, she also had the advantage of having wisdom, because I would imagine she'd lived a long time. But I think she was really free because she could stop, look, listen to what was happening, and then, true to her heart, she could express it. And she would say, hey, stop. Hold on a minute here, folks. Let's remember where we came from. Remember who we are a part of and who is part of us. And she was good in that way. All right. Now, I gotta admit, I am having difficult times coming up with craft ideas to give you. The things that they recommend are often together. So what I want you to do today for your craft, you can either draw you at your truest self, your happiest, truest self, or you can take a selfie of yourself and then try and draw it, or just leave it on mom and dad's phone as a surprise. Now, as we bring this to a close, I want to remind you again, have a happy Labor Day. And remember, our prayer of protection goes like this. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yay, God. And your affirmation for the week is remembering, I am free to be me. So when you're on those Zoom calls with your teacher, try and let your true self shine through so they can see that light that you have inside of you. And remembering, most important, remember, you are loved, special, and important to me. Namaste. Make it a great week, guys. Bye-bye.